Hey everybody, and I do mean everybody. Everybody who wants to be here, needs to be here, and should be here is here. Welcome to the space where we share meaningful, useful stories that help you and offer some meaningful, useful solutions that heal you. I am your new host, the Mushy Guru. So let's get into it.
Well, hello, my everybody's, and I do mean everybody. Everybody who wants to be here, needs to be here, and should be here is here. Welcome to the space where we share meaningful, useful stories that help you, but offer some meaningful, useful solutions that heal you. I am your host, the Mushy Guru. So let's get into it. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to another quick episode. I'm flying solo today. I know you don't know that if you are tuning in by audio, Apple Podcast, or Spotify. Thank you for stopping in. Or if you've joined me at our faithful spot here on YouTube, thank you as well. I know you're like, oh my goodness, there she goes. She's not in her spot, and I'm not. And it's appropriate because today's topic is called, what do you do when you're all over the place? Well, that's exactly what happened to me. So in the midst of, on this Thursday, trying to get my day going, and, abiding by the normal routines that I have early in the morning. If you're like me or, moms or anybody who's, got a whole lot going on in the morning, trying to get everybody to where they need to be so that you can start your day, you understand how hectic that can be in the morning, trying to get your life together. It's normal. But, how you manage that space and how you manage that time makes a big difference on how your day is going to flow. So that's why I wanted to speak to, what do you do when you're all over the place? Well, for me, mine started because of this particular little, if you can see it, it's a kid's thermostat. And it has this little, tightener up part on it where you have to tighten it up. Please forgive the noise. The people are doing what they need to do. They're cutting grass in this beautiful space outside of the school. But anyway, so that thermostat kind of just brought on the reason for today's conversation. So I'm up early in the morning, cooking breakfast, making sure backpacks are packed. People are going where they need to go, to get to school on time, to get to work on time. And in the midst of that, I go to fill up my daughter's water bottle that has a screw top. And, that's not abnormal. It's not like it meant, anything, out of the ordinary. It just happened to happen in a space of not working out for me well, because I didn't take the time to do this one little thing that I want to leave you with. That is probably the most important nugget of this entire conversation. So just stay with me. I'm not going to be on here long, real solo, but very important. So I was rushing around getting everything together. So my daughter was like, Mom, can you put some water in my faithful little thermostat with the cup? So I was like, sure. So I did that in the midst of doing everything else. And in the midst of, making breakfast, packing stuff, getting clothes on, all the things, I go to put the water in the container, and I remember hearing my mind say, don't forget to tighten the lid up. But before I could do that, something popped up on my phone that interested me, and it was a distraction. How many of us know that the devil is in the details is a statement, but honestly, the distractions that come when we're on course to do something, that devil in the details, that's a big thing. It's not that he is trying to come for you. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But in that moment, that simple detail of being distracted threw me. And so even though my conscious, we'll just say what it really was, even though God was speaking to me and saying, hey, slow down, tighten up that water, I ran right by it. I went on to cooking, making, putting clothes on, doing all the stuff. And then when it got to the point where I'm in the car with my daughter in the car line, she is saying to me, Mom, my whole book bag is flooded with this much water. I mean, it's not a small amount. And I am like, oh, my Lord, and her little important papers and whatever. So I'm rushing to, wipe it up, help her get it cleaned up before she jumps out of the car. And she's like, you know what, just please bring me a new water bottle with my stuff so that I can have it for the day. And of course I feel bad. And I'm like, yes, but what it reminded me of was the moment when I got distracted, that devil in the details of distraction, of being distracted, that the other whisper, that other consciousness that presence of God who was saying, slow down, was saying to me, slow down. And let me say it one more time, slow down. Because in the midst of doing so much, being all over the place, I didn't take the time to listen to that tiny, small voice that was saying, slow down. And when I'm in the car trying to resolve a situation that didn't have to be, to make the scenario go away real fast, it took me back to that moment where if I just would have slowed down and listened to that unction, I wouldn't have been having to deal with that moment. And more importantly, I wouldn't have to have added extra moments into my day later that would then throw me off for the rest of the day. So what I'm saying to you here in this, next few minutes is I want you to take the time to slow down in your busy process. You know how I like to always say, let's have rest so that we can get to the rest of the story? Well, sometimes when you're not getting your rest and it's delaying you to get to the rest of your story, it's simply because you've gotten so consumed by the busyness of your day and the small distractions that are delaying you that you're not listening to those small prompts, those small little whispers from God that's telling you just slow down. Because I promise you, he's going to take you back to that moment where that incident happened to remind you that he was there. He's everywhere. I think it's in Jeremiah where it says, God is present everywhere. You can't get away from him, but why would you want to? Why would you not want to heed to his voice of protection, helping you as you move around to slow down so that you can do the safety processing that you need to do when the devil is in the details of distraction. It takes me back to when I was a flight attendant. I'll never forget that we had a very strategic process that mattered most as flight attendants and most people as flyers, as passengers aren't really aware of. Well, we have what you call safety checks. And those safety checks take place at the very beginning of our flights. I mean, when I say it's the most crucial thing, I know as passengers, you're like, no, the most crucial thing is my beautiful peanuts, my drinks, my comfort seat, whatever, you getting us on time to our destination. No, before all those things happen, the most important thing are the safety checks. And I'll never forget doing a flight one morning, and I was working an overnight flight, meaning we flew through the night. I remember going on the plane, doing my safety check of all of the equipment on that aircraft and being, responsible for a particular section. And then getting to the hotel where we landed for a few hours of rest. And then the next morning, getting back up, doing those same safety checks. Well, when we landed back at our destination that morning, we switched crews. And so when the next crew came in and we switched crews so that they could get on our aircraft and start their day, one of the flight attendants came back and said, hey, I was doing my safety check and I noticed that you had not done something that would be very crucial for us to continue and be on time for our flight. Well, I was so frustrated because I knew that morning I had done my safety check. I had made sure that everything that needed to be handled in my space so that aircraft could go out on time, so that FAA rules could be handled properly, had been done. But at this point, it was just her words against my words. And so what I did was I went back and made a report so that I could cover myself during that safety check. So if anything came up, it would be documented. Now, again, there were people between, the time when I got off the plane, and when she came on the plane. But it did not matter because at the end of the day, as I was traveling, as she was traveling, as our passengers were traveling, the only thing that mattered is that safety check had happened when all of us are all over the place. So at the end of the day, that flight went out perfectly fine. All the regulations had been met. And it was just a oversight on, I guess, maybe my part. I'll just say that for now, but it wasn't my fault. It was an oversight. But because the safety checks were done completely on everybody's side, that plane took off safely without any problems because it never left the boarding area. And I reminded myself of that moment to say, when we're all over the place and we're in our busyness of the day, when things are happening, when we're trying to get to our most important next destinations, we have to remember that God is always right there with us, prompting us. He's not trying to be in just the details, like as we say that phrase, the devil is in the details to distract us. No, he is trying to be omnipresent because he is with you all the time, unctioning you to say, hey, slow down, do that safety check, tighten up that screw on that bottle so that water is not exploding everywhere and then adding extra steps to your day later. So I don't know who this is for today as I fly solo and I'm, your faithful flight attendant, your meaningful, useful stories, trying to help you get to, important nuggets in your day to get to the rest of your story. I don't know who this is for, but all I'm saying is, as you're all over the place doing important things, remember, slow down and know that God is all over the place with you, unctioning you the entire way. So take heed so that when you're doing these safety checks, everything comes out on the right side for you and others. So remember, as I always like to say, I know that you may have some things coming off your lips, but just make sure that those words do not bring harm to yourself or negativity, because you're important and what you have to say matters. And I hope you have a wonderful day and that you caught the significance to this message, because if it was for you and you're listening, it means you may need to slow down as you're all over the place so that you can reach the rest of your story well. Have a wonderful Thursday.
It's been great being with you. And remember, our words, good or bad, they have power. So the next time you feel like some negativity is about to fall off your lips about yourself, take this one word of advice. Hush your mouth. Until next time, it's the Mushy Guru.